Anyone who plays fish knows that the most important part to catching super cool fish is your fishing rod, especially for beginner players, which is why today I'm going to be going over the top 10 beginner fishing rods in Roblox Fish. If this helps you guys out, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get right into it. So number 10 on my list is an OG rod, a classic rod that literally everybody in Fish has. You get it at Moosewood, but you don't even have to buy it. I'm talking about the flimsy rod, the most OG rod in Fish. The reason I put this one at number 10 is because, first of all, you need this rod. Technically, you need this rod or you can never get another fishing rod in the game. So yeah, flimsy rod, you get number 10. We all love you, okay? And another rod that I specifically love very much is number 9 on the list. It is once again at Moosewood Village, but this time you actually do have to buy it. It is not the flimsy rod, not the training rod, nor the plastic rod. I am talking about the carbon rod. For 2,000 credits, you get one of the best beginner's rods in the entire game with a -10 lure speed, 25% luck, 0.05 control, 10% resilience, and 600 max kilograms. I get it's not amazing, but if you're fishing at Moosewood, this is the best rod that you should have. And speaking about best rods, for the best rod, we are traveling out of Moosewood and we're finally going up in a couple of levels for these rods, you guys. At Moosewood, you can go all the way over to the blacksmith and buy a rod called the steady rod. Yes, this is one of the most OG rods in the entire game. Oh my goodness, I've literally caught 1,344 fish with this, which doesn't seem like a lot, but back in the day, oh my goodness, I used to grind with this rod. And any beginner who plays Fish knows how important this rod is to progressing. Literally any player in Fish, if you're trying to get from like level 1 to 1,000, you're gonna get the steady rod because it's just the best one that you can buy for 7,000 credits. But when you guys go ahead and grind up some credits, that's when you can start getting into these next rods. And we're finally getting to really good beginner rods. And I'm going to tell you guys about the number 7 rod, which you can only buy at Northern Expedition. And yes, you guys, I'm talking about the best beginner's rod, the Arctic rod. I'm joking. The Arctic rod got nerfed. The Arctic rod is absolutely trash. The good news is there is a rod that you can buy for similar to the Arctic rod. It's 35,000 credits, and I'm talking about the one, the only avalanche rod with a lure speed of 40%, 68% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience, and a max kilogram limit of 65,000. This is the successor, the dad to the Arctic rod, because the Arctic rod's absolutely garbage. I mean, it's 25,000 credits, but it sucks. I don't even need to get into the stats. It got nerfed into absolute garbageness. We mostly know this, but yeah, avalanche rod is the best replacement, but it is not as good as the next rod that you can also get at the Northern Expedition for completing a puzzle. I'm talking about the crystallized rod with a lure speed of 35%, 45% luck, 0.15 control, 15% resilience, and 25,000 max kilogram limit. You may be thinking the stats aren't that good, and yes, I 100% do agree with you, but the fact that this is the only rod in the game that you can use to catch things with the crystallized mutation. And do I even have anything? No, I don't. I think I gave up my last crystallized relic, but if you do not have this rod, it is impossible to get the rod of the exalted one of the best advanced rods in the entire game that you can use to catch exalted relics. You literally can't get it because you need a crystallized enchant relic, and you can only get that if you get the crystallized rod, making this, in my opinion, one of the best beginner's rods in the entire game. Either way, guys, make sure to stay till the end because the number 1 rod is absolutely overpowered and you need it if you're a beginner. And if this has helped you guys so far, go ahead and subscribe. What am I doing? The next one we're gonna go over is one of my favorite rods in the entire game. No, it's not very good right now. I think they're gonna buff it in the future, but just because of the fact that this rod used to be so good. I'm talking about the trident rod with a lure speed of 20%, 150% luck, which is a lot, 0% control, 0% resilience, and 6,000 max kilograms. Trident rod's still okay. I mean, the only problem with it right now is the fact that it literally has a horrible max kilogram limit, which is why I actually made a video talking about how they're gonna buff old rods like the trident rod, and I definitely do think they're gonna buff the trident rod. But a rod that is the next one on the list, my number 4 rod of this top 10 list, is does not need a buff because this rod is really, really good. And for the price of 80,000, you can buy the Champions Rod with a lure speed of 45%, 65% luck, 0.25% control, and 30% resilience, and a max kilogram limit of 200,000, allowing you to catch basically any fish in the entire game. The Champions Rod is really good. I mean, if we're just talking about beginner's rods, this is really, really good. And for the price of 80,000, that is why it is actually at my 4th spot, because the number 1 spot is way cheaper. And honestly, yeah, even though the Champions Rod is good, I would say it's a little bit expensive. And if you're kind of grinding from level 0 to 1000, you technically don't need the Champions Rod, but it is still a really strong rod, which is why I put it at my number 4 spot. Now we are getting into the top 3, the best beginner's rods right now in all of Roblox Fish. The first one is a rod that you can get in the Mariana's Veil update, and I'm not going to go down there, but it's a rod that you can get in the volcanic vents for the price of 300,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's why I actually put it at my 3rd spot. The top 2 are actually pretty cheap for beginners, but for the price of 300,000, you can get the volcanic rod. And if you enchant this rod with hasty, it makes it one of the best beginner's rods in the entire game. Yes, it has a slow lure speed of 30%, but brother, the trident rods is 20. Anyways, volcanic rod, check the stats out. 30% lure speed, 90% luck, 0.1 control, 15% resilience, and infinite max kilogram limit, meaning yes, you can catch any fish in the game, no matter its size. Dude, very OP for a beginner's rod. I mean, if you get hasty on this, not only can you get insta catch if you use seaweed or like literally any lure speed bait, it's so OP, bro. You can catch any fish. Like, the volcanic rod is really good, and I hope it's not going to get nerfed. I don't think it will. So definitely invest in this rod if you have a spare 300,000. And speaking about having some spare money, you don't need that much spare money to get this next rod for the price of 13,337. I know it's a weird number, but that's how much it costs to get the brick rod. And if you get hasty on this rod, it is super good. With a lure speed of 0%, 75% luck, 0.35 control, 35% resilience, which is probably the highest in the entire game, and an infinite max kilogram limit, you can get the brick rod. The only problem about this rod is it's kind of annoying to actually like get it, which is why I have a tutorial video, and I'll leave that. You have to click the eye and then there'll be like a link to it. It's kind of weird. It should be somewhere here. Just click the screen, then click the eye. You can watch my tutorial. Anyways, the brick rod is really good, especially with hasty, but not as good as the number 1 beginner's rod. Best rod in all of Fish for beginners players, the Depth Seeker rod. Yes, I'm sure you guys knew this was coming, but the Depth Seeker rod is so OP. You can buy it in Atlantis. You don't need to unlock anything else except for Atlantis. It has 55% lure speed, 70% luck, 25% resilience, and 50,000 max kilogram limit. And honestly, that's not even the best part. The best part is this rod only costs 40,000 credits. Yes, for the price of 40,000 credits, you can get the best beginner's rod in the entire game. I actually do think the volcanic rod is better than this, but for the price, this is the best beginner's rod in the entire game. Let me know what you guys thought of my list. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I hope this helped. Peace. If you're still watching, subscribe.